Welcome to the hotel, Harvey Norman. Oh my God, this has been my life for 3 days. 3 days! I had the luxury of 3 days off because I worked 2 extra days in the previous fortnight. And all I could think about was doing absolutely nothing. Well, being a sunny, basically. No fucks to give. Doing sweet fuck all. And I had heaps of errands on Wednesday already. Wednesday was already a really busy day. But Thursday and Friday was going to be a reconnect with the gym now that I've got the green light to go back to the gym, doing people with special needs classes, like the geriatric classes. Healthy living for the over 70s. That's what I'm allowed to do at the moment. And I pictured myself like lying in bed reading a book all day. I mean, that would never happen because I just can't do that. I mean, even lying in bed, I'd be like, oh, I think I need to vacuum my bedroom. And then that would turn into let's vacuum and mop the entire house. So I did swing by here on Wednesday saying, got a bit of an issue with my computer. Thought I'd just pop in on the way through, just in the off chance it's something to do with my charging cable. I'm such a nerd. This will be the most boring live. Because my Surface Pro was also playing up using the same charging cable. So I figured, hey, blissful. I figured it was a possibility. We're at the car wash. They be like, you might need to bring it in. And I was like, well, I was kind of expecting you to say that. Just swung by in case it was a cable issue because I would have just bought a new cable. Anywho, went back yesterday, as some of you know. What you don't know is they pulled my laptop apart and the battery had expanded and was so warped and weird that the back of the computer flew off like a missile. Well, I think my friend in there at Harvey Norman is a bit melodramatic, but he's lovely. And 2 hours later, 2.5 hours later, I walked out of Harvey Norman having purchased, because I had little choice, a new laptop, keyboard and mouse, because you've got to get a new keyboard and mouse. Well, I like a keyboard and mouse with a laptop anyway, but also if you're going to get a new one, you've got to get the new accessories. All the, Microsoft, Norton, all the extras. Hey, Kylie. And then as I was leaving, I bought an emergency TV last year for like $400 from here. But it's like the only bad juju thing in my house. Like the only thing that just makes me go, you are really annoying, is this friggin' cheap-ass TV. Well, the hard drive they can't get into because we can't find the BitLocker key because the BitLocker key is on the laptop and the laptop's busted. So poor little Harvey, my beautiful Spectre, is now in there heading off to the recycling bin. But Alex, who looked after me, is like me. Like when there's a problem, he wants to solve it. So he just said to me, hey, I want a weekend project. I want to get into your hard drive. So how do you feel about me taking it? And, it's free of charge because this is just me seeing if I can fix it. And I said, take it. Has anyone ever seen a hard drive out of their laptop? It's like the size of a Zippo lighter times 2. Not even that big. It's because it's flat. They're fucking tiny. But yeah, I didn't tell him to not look at my browsing history. But if he does, oh my, he'll find it entertaining. But he won't be surprised. We've gotten to know each other very well because I've been hanging out at the bloody Hotel Harvey Norman. You can check out, but you can never leave for 3 days. Like, I feel like Alex and I have known each other since childhood. So I just thought before I left that I'd pop over because I'm eventually going to get a monitor as well for this new laptop. So, and set up a proper little home office, BHB style, with a 1993 printer in it. I know I'm going up against Burnt Toast, so if Burnt Toast goes live and you all leave, I will not blame you. She's funny as fuck. Yeah, so I just want to sort of find out why my TV's shit, and if it's a case of just getting like a little SD card or something to increase its memory and stop it being such a little bitch. But he's not the only one that wants to get into your hard drive. So anyway, then I get introduced to the 2IC of the TV department, Matt, who's awesome. Except for after saying to him, I don't want a bloody cement shoes. Hello, Groover. After saying to him, I don't want a Gamer Boy TV. Like, I'm not here to buy something that's going to take up my whole wall, you know. Like, in fact, I didn't have a telly for a decade. So it's not that I want the best, flashiest bells and whistles, biggest nightmare $10,500 thing. Like, I just want to know if I spend a couple more $100 and get a better one than the one I got and get a branded one. I mean, TCL's a brand, but I'd never freaking heard of them before. And I'm never going to get them again. And Matt's like, oh, you bought a 40-inch or whatever it is, TCL. Yeah, the problem with them is the driver in them is too powerful for the size of the telly, which is why they're pains in the ass. And I said, well, yeah, I mean, that's kind of crappy. And I don't want to have to factory reset my television every 2 months just so I can watch it. You know, and we'll be, hey, Francesca, we'll be, see if we can do something. No, is it this? G'day. How do I get out of here to see the screen again? Oh, that's not good. I thought I'd just say hello to everyone. I miss you, Grooves. But all right. I tried. I'm turning it back around again because I got to drive in a minute, and I don't want it on my face while I'm driving. It's pretty low where my phone is too, so I have to like drive like this. Hang on a sec. It's 9 degrees here today. All right. You need a TV, so this is good info. Yeah, so anyway, apparently, according to Matt, 2IC and TV, I cannot believe 3 days off, and I've spent all 3 of them at this fucking place. Anyway, I'm about to leave. Yeah, get your TV out of your bedroom. Out of your room. It's taking up book space. So good to see me. That was terrible. Like, there was sun in my face. I was squinting. I just got, no, not good. Not good. But anyway, you'll see me soon because I'm driving home now with my laptop that I paid for yesterday and had to come back and get it today because for some dumb fucking reason, in the middle of everything Alex was selling me, I agreed to let them set my computer up for me at the fucking price of $150, which I didn't realise. I set my other laptops up myself. Like, I would never have agreed to that because yesterday, after leaving here with a TV, because I haven't finished that story yet, I had like 11 phone calls from Taylor here because I've got my profile set up that everything's double verification. So everything she was doing, how did I go from 7 to 3? Has Burnt Toast gone live and you've all abandoned me? That's okay. She's awesome. And I'm going to be driving in a minute and just ranting about irrelevant shit. So she had to call me every time with the frigging verification codes. So like the drive home yesterday took me like an hour and a half because I had to keep pulling over on the side of the road to read an email and give her the code before it expired. It was a nightmare. Anyway, just I've now been here for, thank fuck, only 40 minutes. And I finally walked out with a laptop and my new keyboard. I've got a Bluetooth one. So I'm sick of replacing batteries in friggin' things all the time. I mean, I know I've still got to put a battery in the mouse, but anyway. You think it's a shit job? What? Well, it's easier if you're at home doing it because you keep getting the double verification shit for everything you're doing. Like for me personally, I would have been better off just doing it myself, in my view, but I do understand why people pay to get it done. So anyway, it's done. I've got it. I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'm going home. I'm stopping at the butcher and that's it. Go to the butcher, get what we need. Getting some chicken. I'm getting some lamb mince. I'm going to be doing lots of cooking. But there are some good things. One thing is the Surface Pro that I've got, which was a bit of a leftover from a job where it was part of my salary package and we got to keep it, but not the docking station or anything like that. I'll be able to have that in the kitchen because it's tiny. Well, it's not tiny, but like it folds down to nothing. And with the second camera that I've got, like I can basically have a permanent setup in my kitchen. It's going to look a bit weird to people who visit me, and I'll just be like, don't worry about that. That's just my YouTube kitchen studio. The 3-hour tour. It would take it. Well, it kind of did take me all day getting someone else to do it. So I'm pretty good with technology. Like even the computer, I diagnosed the issue. I just wanted to save my hard drive and was hoping these fuckers could. And they may be able to. Alex has got his weekend project. The 3-hour tour. Yeah, what a tour. I know everyone in there now too. They're all like, hey, you're still here. I'm like, yeah, I've never left. I'm getting the frig out of here now. Emily Flotilla. I love setting things up. Isn't it funny? Some people love some, but I'm really patient. So like for me, you know, like my mum used to give me her chains. If her necklaces got all tangled up, she'd give them to me to undo them because I'd be just patient and just sit there and do them. Whereas my sister would try and do the first knot for an hour or not even that long, 5 minutes, and it would defeat her and she'd throw the fucking thing across the room and lose her shit. I was watching a dude untangling a fishing net on a lane last night. I had to watch the replay of the grand finale, and my favourite one, I won't say anything if anyone's watching it, but woohoo. All right, I'll tell you about my TV. So basically in the last 24 hours, I've spent money that really I don't have to spend when I'm about to possibly have to spend it on my house issue, but that's, you know, I heard from the insurer and they were like, we seek further clarification from the builder and before we can make a decision. So we'll be back in touch once we've received a response. And I'm thinking, you are so desperately trying to wriggle out of covering this issue, you bastards. Big hello to anyone else who arrives. You groovers in chat can meet and greet for me while I'm driving. Let's get out of here. Goodbye, Hotel Harvey Norman. I've checked out and I'm leaving. Goodbye. Oh, God, if Alex does manage to retrieve my hard drive, though, I'm going to have to freaking go back there. But I hope he does because, you know, like I've been writing a book and because Microsoft is taking, like, money every month for OneDrive and also telling me that I have absolutely no space on there, which I do now because with the new computer, I've got, like, terabytes worth of storage, apparently. So whatever that means. Sounds bigger than a megabyte. even though mega is mega. Don't they have terabytes of stuff to go through with Koberger? I always come back this way because a mate of mine runs the warehouse at Harvey Norman, and if he's ever standing out here, I'm like, Daniel, get back in there and do some more work. He's not there. It's become a bit of a tradition. Hey, perpetual platypussy! Yeah, so anyway, Matt explained to me that the 40-inch TV doesn't have a big enough driver to deal with the... it's too powerful and the screen can't cope. But this is where I lost my shit. I was pissing myself laughing, and he thought I was a cheeky monkey. He's like, you should have got a 43-inch because that extra 3 inches can handle it. So you can probably imagine where I went with that. Like, I can handle another 3 inches. And he's like, but in the TV world, he was still really serious. He's quite young. In the TV screen world, 3 inches sounds little, but it actually can make a massive difference. And I was like, that's true in lots of worlds where inches are important. It's just a lot of penis talk. But essentially, yeah, the 40... So if anyone's getting a telly, don't get... Because I can't do the Gamer Boy gigantic thing. Like, trust me, the 43-inch one is... It looks really big to me. I mean, it won't look oversized in my house, but for me, like, I'm happy to watch movies on my laptop, you know? I've watched movies on the plane on my phone. It's not... I don't need the gigantic screen that the Gamer Boys love. Oh, look, we've got a spare wall in our house. Let's cover it with a TV. That kind of craziness. You would have taken to the... I know, how could you resist a joke? Anyway, I finally cracked the very serious young Matthew, and he thought it was hilarious. So, I don't know, the next thing I was doing was helping him put the thing in the back of my car. With a 43-incher. Came home with me. Texas, hello. So, yeah, size does matter. Those extra 3 inches. And it's a Samsung TV, which I'm really happy about because everything in my house is Samsung. And I get home, but it was light as a feather, the telly. Because I was thinking, with my dislocated knee, I might need to get my neighbour to help. Could have lifted it out of the car with a finger. It was so light. Anyway, I wanted to watch the final of Alone Australia, which was on Wednesday night. And I was like, well, I christened my new telly. Is that what I'm going to watch? And I was like, no, I'm over all this setting up of gadgets. This will be the big farewell for the TCL 40-inch motherfucker. Oh, thanks for the caps reminder, Emily. So I decided, it would be the TCL's last hurrah. And the bloody thing behaved perfectly. It didn't tell me its memory was full. I didn't have to bloody restart the episode. Doesn't matter what I watch on that TV, you get about 3.5 minutes and then boom, it's back on the main menu. Every time. Except for last night. Didn't do it. So then I had the big brainwave. I'm like, all right, I'm taking all the apps off this telly that I never use because they're all just ticking away in the background, filling up its memory. I've got to constantly reset it. And when I set up my little second spare bedroom as a spare bedroom / home office / snug, which is the word I use for like sitting room or den, like a little cozy winter room, it can be in there. So if someone comes to stay, they might score a room. Like my niece Lily would love to have a TV that she can watch Netflix on. Although I did set up a TV for her when she came to stay one time so she could watch Netflix, and she was like, if I'm watching telly, I want to watch it with you, Auntie Tor. I was like, oh, bless. So she and her boyfriend Declan and I watched some of the worst horror movies ever. They were so bad they weren't even scary. So yeah, out I walked $3,000 later. New telly, new laptop with Norton and bloody Microsoft and all the shit that you got to put on it, and a keyboard and a mouse and a docking station. And I didn't buy the monitor because if I have to vacate my house while my bathroom gets attended to, there's no point in having a brand new monitor because I won't take something like that with me. So I thought, I'll wait. That can wait. And then, yeah, hopefully I can have like a little kitchen studio set up that won't be too visibly or visually ugly. Or it'll just be, my Surface Pro will just be for streaming in the kitchen. But I've got to say, my new HP Spectre Envy is bound, chicka, bound, bound. It's porn, man. It's fucking porn. You love these causeways? Thank you, gorgeous. What's Emily done that's generous? I'm so out of the loop with you guys. You're all just having your little love fest. And I'm over here having escaped. I'm actually very excited that I still have 2.5 days of lots of cooking and downtime. So I'm going to be cooking a lot, guys. I'll give you an idea of what's on the menu. I want to start doing, I need a catchy name. I realised one of the things that I'm doing on YouTube when I'm cooking, which is really stupid, is I cook the full recipe, like, and sometimes it's, you know, servings of like 4 or even 6, sometimes even 8, which is just so. Did you buy a membership? And Cement goes, oh, thank you. No one's ever done that. Oh, hang on, no, Deb Tuttle did a long time ago. That's made me get all like warm and fuzzy. Thank you so much, Emily. You're a sweetheart. Yeah, the causeways are gorgeous. It's very hard to be grumpy driving to and from work when this is the scenery. Like, I just love it. I love the causeways the most when they're really rough and there's water blowing over them. And people are like, oh, it's a bit hairy on the causeway. And I'm like, fucking loved it. Bring it on. My little Suzuki Swift can handle it. This car's like a bloody Mack truck, honestly. Biff is a machine. So, yeah, so what I want to do is recipes that are, because groceries are just so expensive, like everywhere, I kind of want my cooking to be, the point of it is, look, these are affordable ingredients, but also it's just the way you put them together that can change what you're cooking from being okay to being amazing without any extra ingredients. So, like, I'm going to kick it off with doing garlic chicken. It's a really simple recipe, just using breasts or thighs. But I'm going to do like servings for 2 because I don't like eating the same thing for 5 days. I've got friends who do. Reminds me of areas on the Oregon coast. Interesting. I don't really remember Oregon. I mean, we kind of drove through it. We might have had like 2 nights in Oregon. I don't remember it very well at all. Um, compared to other parts of the states outside of Kansas City where I did spend a lot of time, like LA and Annapolis, Maryland, and Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Or because I was traumatized somewhere like the host family I had in Monticello, Iowa. Oh my God, they were scary. I look back on that host arrangement now and wonder how the fuck they were approved, because they looked like serial killers, all of them, both parents and the 13 children. Oh, cool. So, I was thinking of, I don't want to I did think of tea for two, but it was kind of like, I'll let people know that I'm doing half of the recipe. So if they want to make servings for more people, they just need to double it or triple it or whatever. But also, it just means I'm not stuck with heaps of the same thing that I've got to eat day in, day out. And I don't eat huge servings for dinner as well. So when I make like a dinner thing, if it's got lots of servings, like most people are like, oh, you'll get 4 servings out of this, whereas I'd probably get 6 or 7. But sometimes with cooking, it's just the way in which you cook it and the order in which you add things. So like garlic chicken, can you get any more basic, really? But the way it's done, it's just fucking kick ass. And people will be like, oh my God, I've managed to make this amazing garlic chicken. And I'm going to teach everyone how to teach everyone. I'm also going to make, with the garlic chicken, we're going to be having some maple heirloom carrots, like some maple syrup heirloom carrots. But maybe, I don't know, actually, now I'm talking out loud with garlic chicken. No, that'll be fine. And then some green beans. And I'll make 2 servings, and one of them I will actually bundle up into a container and whack it in the freezer, because coming home to something like that and not feeling like cooking and being able to just chuck that in the air fryer for 15 minutes, thank you very much. I'm also going to be making, I love meatballs, as you guys know. I can't imagine ever being a vegetarian, but the older I'm getting, the less I like prepping meat and meat with bones and stuff. So I do seem to lean towards the mince meats rather than the meat on the bone dishes. So we're going to be making some spicy lamb meatballs with grated halloumi in them. Really spicy, cheesy lamb meatballs. And I'm also, that particular recipe said store-bought chamula paste, which is like an African paste. And I'm like, nah, I'm going to make it from scratch. Fuck this store-bought shit. So we're going to learn how to make chamula. I'm going to be doing a mushroom soup this weekend. And to have with the mushroom soup, I'm going to be making what I call humanimal muffins, because the last time I was making, I'm going to be pulling up down at a talking spot shortly so we can have a chat while I finish my coffee. And then I'll go around to the butchers and end the live. So I'm going to I always make some muffins on the weekend because I just love taking them for lunch, and you can just put together a really simple little salad, or take some leftover veggies, or just take some carrots carrot sticks and celery sticks and some hummus or whatever you want. But I do love me a savoury muffin. So we're going to be doing ham and cheddar muffins that you serve with tomato relish. Now, I'm not going to be making tomato relish because when I make tomato relish, I make mountains of tomato relish, and I've got plenty of relish in the fridge to use. So they're the muffins that we're going to be making, and I've made them before, but I made some the other day when my sister was coming over, and they're so easy and so quick that I feel like doing them again because, again, with the way groceries are going, like we want, affordable recipes. Fuck you, you're behind me, you wanker. Did you hear that? This car that was behind me pulled over, started to turn right. I'm pulling over to let him pass me. What a knob. With kids and an old lady in the car. What a nice guy. He was turning right, obviously, behind me. But then, you go in order. The guy's actually behind me, where you can finally go into the turning lane. Like, before you get to that bit, there's a stretch where the lane starts, but it's got lines, as in you do not drive on this part. He was already flying along on that bit. I had no option but to get over. And he beeped me. What a wanker. And he's also speeding. I gave him the finger. He totally broke the law just then and then beat me. Okay, mate. Good on you. It's not the Tassie spirit. To regroup when I get to my talking spot. Bit of road rage down in this part of the world. Really? You're going to drive into this part of the world and be in a bad mood? What's wrong with you, mate? He's definitely speeding. He's already gone over the hill. They're peanut butter cookies, and they're really easy. And they literally take like 8 or 10 minutes to cook, and they take about 5 to 10 minutes to make, if that. Probably 5 minutes to make, a couple of minutes to get your baking trays out with put the baking paper on them. So like when people suddenly say, hey, I'm going to pop in for a cuppa, it's like you can have those cookies out of the oven before your friend arrives and the house will smell amazing. But they've also only got 3 ingredients because I've got Hershey's chopped chips in my baking supplies, which are great. I actually like their own, but they've got peanut butter, sugar, and egg. One egg. That's it. Again, budget friendly. But I've got to try and think of a name, or if I'd like people to be able to find it, that I'm doing these affordable meals in our current economic climate where a carrot costs you $1.80, one fucking carrot, I want to be able to help people make affordable, delicious food. But also I want to cater a little bit to the couples or the singles that don't want to make a meal to feed an army, which is what I always end up doing. Yeah, there's a wanker on every island, and we just met him. Like, he was totally speeding, then he was tailgating, then he went to turn right on the bit that has the big do not use this part of the lane yet bit, and then he has a go at me. What a guy. There was no way I was driving into this beautiful part of the world and keeping up my arsehole way. And do you know what pisses me off? Like, dickers like that, right? who pulls stunts like that. There's never any cops around. But someone who's doing 63 in a 60 zone in a bloody Hyundai Getz that really will only ever go 68 kilometres an hour, they get pinged and lose 3 points and get fined, $800 or whatever. But jack-offs like that, dude, never get caught. It's so frustrating. Oh, look at that. There's a wanker on every island. We're going to the thinking spot. I'll do a quick swing by over the beach. Oh, no, I'm going to go to the butcher's. Yeah, fuck them. So let's see what else we got up here. You need new chicken recipes. Well, I do a lot of chicken because I don't eat mountains of red meat, but also even if I was a huge red meat eater, it's so expensive now that it's really special treat meat. Chicken is still relatively affordable, and people can buy really big bulk packs and bundle them up into, 250 gram Ziploc, like puts 250 grams into lots of little Ziploc bags and whack them in the freezer, and you can get a lot of meals out of chicken. You had garlic prawns and veggies stir fry last night. Basic. Yeah, exactly. Basic can be. But that's what I was thinking, because even using the word basic, like just the basics, but then occasionally I might want to do a fancy pants, yottamottalengi, let's go crazy and make this mad dish. I love green beans too. They're my favourite of all the green veggies. The mushroom soup's yum. It's got Swiss browns and porcini, I think, in it. Yum, yum, yummy, yum. Sounds tantalising. The muffins are hearty, yeah. So they're a ham and cheese muffin and then just a nice big blob of homemade or bought tomato relish. And I think I'm also going to make... I do a lot of cooking on the weekends, as you guys know, because then I've got food for like when I'm working, and it just means taking lunch into work is so much easier. We get half an hour. Like by the time you've run out and got something and got back to the office, it's like 5 minutes before your next client, and you've got to shove. Like I had to go out and get lunch on Tuesday, and I got this gorgeous capsicum soup, and I reheated it 3 times while I was at work because I was so busy and I just didn't get to eat more than a couple of mouthfuls, and then it'd go cold again. You're not a chicken person or fan of anything that swims? Bits of pork, beef, lots of legumes and shit. Yeah, there's always going to be a vegetarian dish in what I make too. So like quite often that will be the soup. But I don't do vegan because I actually think vegan diets can be quite expensive. But also I have done a lot of vegan and just gone, yeah, vegetarian I'm way down with. Vegan, not a fan. But see, I'm allergic to pork. Beef, there'll be beef recipes for sure. I mean, there's going to be something for everyone, I hope. I do lots of legumes as well. I've got a lentil soup that I'm going to show you guys soon, which is really yummy. You do eggs. But some of these dishes, like the chicken one, this garlic chicken, is so delicious and so easy that the people who do eat chicken and love it will be like, I will never, ever look for another garlic chicken recipe in my life. This is so easy and delicious. Yeah, minced beef. Yeah, me too. I do mince beef a lot. Well, not a lot, but meatballs do pop up on my diet a lot because they're so versatile. You can do like a creamy polenta or a potato mash with them. You could do spaghetti and meatballs. You can just do a really yummy side salad with some baby spinach. You can put baby spinach actually in the sauce. You can just have the meatballs and some crunchy bread. People do meatballs on toast. Like, there's so many different ways you can eat meatballs. Sandwiches, yep. Even on rice, like, they're just versatile. But I'm often happy just having a bowl of them with a really nice, yummy, crunchy bit of bread. I'm going to be making with the mushroom soup some garlic bread too. My sister grows garlic and brought some down the other day. So I'll do a garlic bread using a frozen Turkish bread. I'll grab one out of the freezer and just do a Turkish bread, garlic bread. Yum. It is. I paid $24 for lunch the other day, like whatever I bought. And I also got a coffee and a drink. Oh no, I think I just got the coffee. It's $24. And it was no way near as good as the stuff I can make at home. So that's why I like doing the muffins, because I think people will find, if they get into making muffins, when you get like 12 muffins and you look at the cost of making 12 muffins, like, they're so cheap. And the last ones that I made, the ones that had the ricotta in them, like, I took the cherry tomatoes, I took them into work and people were just going, oh my God, these are so light and fluffy and amazing. You know, and I've still got at least 4 in the freezer, because that's the other thing. They freeze so well. You just pull them out and pop them in your lunchbox or your kid's lunchbox. And then if you've got a little container of homemade soup, well, there's your lunch. $9, yeah. Butter chicken is delicious, but yeah, $9, no way. I'll be making a lot of pies too. I've got great pie recipes, so they're another thing that are great to make. And for the first time ever, I made sausage rolls not that long ago, and I've got a few of them in the freezer. And I prefer to eat them if I'm working from home because I can get them crispy. Like, at work, we've got this microwave that's also an oven, but when you use the oven setting, it takes forever. And I don't have forever when I'm at work. I have half an hour. So it's much easier just to heat up some soup and a muffin and have that for lunch. True, I didn't even think of that. She's way sexier when she says muffins. That was so funny. My husband went and picked up the muffins. I bet they were bloody good muffins too. You bought the muffins because it was Amber Heard that was coming to see you. No, we just buy muffins when people come to see us. Fuck off, you dumb bitch, Elaine. But Dr. Curry was so beautiful, and then to have her saying muffins, I think men went wild. Although whoever it was in chat the other day that said Dr. Curry putting on her glasses was one of the sexiest things they'd ever seen. Was that you, Samantha, or was it someone else? Yeah, good old Elaine. I miss that lady. But yeah, on the chicken thing, I was given for Christmas, and I wrote to the guys that published it, and they've never gotten back to me. So I think I'm just going to start doing it. My best mates gave me a cooking deck of cards that's called 100 Ways to Eat Cock, and it's just all chicken recipes. And all the names of the dishes that they've made them, pervy. But yeah, I wrote to the guys because I said, I'd love to do, like, cook your recipes on my YouTube channel, but I would like to get your permission. And they never got back to me. Exactly. And that was the person that was berating me because I was moving my true crime stuff over to Smooth Criminal. So people see all this content and think that it's something I'm covering at the moment. It's like, oh God, that was ages ago. But I did get told off for having a laugh at that trial when it was such a serious topic. And it's like, oh, come on. It was a serious topic, but there were so many moments of comedy gold. And I quoted Elaine's impersonation of Johnny Depp as being one of them. I said, how can you seriously say that there was nothing funny about that trial when one of Amber's lawyers objected to his own fucking question? I mean, seriously. My dog got stung by a bee. Something like, seriously. And it was the live with us coming up with all of the literature quotes because Amber was accused of quoting movies. I said, come on, that was funny. Like, I mean, I work in law. I know how refreshing it is when you get to have a laugh in a courtroom because things are so intense. Like, the whole thing was gold, and it was gold because you guys are gold. Someone commented on my video on this channel today, or last night or whatever, but I responded to them today saying they'd watched the Armchair Detective going to the loo thing, and they're like, oh my God, your channel's hilarious, and I've only watched one thing. And I was like, you've got to come back because the community's hilarious. Like, we've got really funny people. Oh no, here we go again. You know, every time you do this, you make me want to wet my pants. I was the original post-it note lady, yep. It was hilarious. Call me Cheryl. Stop it. And it was so bonding too. Like, we were all forever connected because of that. And it was great too because Jen Lou coming up, and she, like, you know, she's got much bigger channels in her network where she could have been hanging out, and she came and hung out with us, and I loved that because she was funny too. Like, it was. And there was someone in the chat who was English who just kept writing the most hilarious things, and they didn't come back for the sentencing or the sentencing, but the judgment. But I wish they had because they were bloody hilarious. There were so many random funny people that found us too. That was so terrific. Oh God, I bought this coffee down here when I headed into Harvey Normal. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go shortly and go to the butcher. Then I'm going to set up my kitchen camera and Surface Pro so that I can literally just hit go live and hopefully away we go. I'm very excited about that. I mean, I will have to plug in my microphone, but, you know, if I can find a way to make it look okay to have a little Surface Pro just sitting in my kitchen. I think I can. I've got this little bamboo computer holding thing that looks kind of cute on my kitchen bench. Yeah, I don't know what the turd is up to. I mean, stop it. I want to wet my pants. Kerry, well, there was Kerry, but there was another one that had a name like Still Thriving, Still Surviving. Like it was STST or so, STSS or STPS, or I don't know what it was. Because I actually mentioned it. I mentioned that person in that clip that I put onto my channel that upset somebody. She made a really interesting comment though, which was there's no such thing as mutual abuse. And there's a lot of academics who've written papers about that. And the theory behind it is that if you are a victim of abuse and you retaliate in an abusive fashion, then that doesn't make you also abusive. Like you're defending yourself. And I'm totally down with that. But there are couples on the planet where both people in the relationship are already abusive and toxic. And I haven't found any I didn't have a lot of I didn't go down a lot of rabbit warrens back in the day where this whole thing about there's no such thing as mutual abuse was being discussed. But if you have two abusive people in a relationship and there's no such thing as mutual abuse and they are abusing each other, does that then mean that the first person to be abusive is the abuser and the other person is the victim, even though they are also abusive? Like they're not being abusive in a self-defense way. They are being abusive. So you have one incident with one of them being the agitator, and then the next week the other one agitates. Or is it an interchangeable thing? Because it's something about standing strong. But yeah, I feel like there's an exception to the there's no such thing as mutual abuse, because as far as I'm concerned, I mean, the trial that we watched was about defamation, but if you actually looked at the relationship and the history of the pair of them, like, they definitely brought the worst out in each other. And I not once did I ever say that Johnny was a victim and nothing else. Like, we were all kind of like, yeah, this is bad for sure. And I'd never, ever, ever call a victim who has to be aggressive to defend themselves an abuser, ever. I understand the principle of there is no such thing as mutual abuse. I still feel, though, that sometimes you have two abusive people together who are abusing each other, and I don't know how victim and abuser can be interchangeable if the rule of there's no such thing as mutual abuse is that strict. Yeah, I think I might have to look into it, Emily, because I just think nearly everything has got an exception in life. Like, there's very few things that are just black and white, that's it, the end. I mean, there's lots of simple, straightforward things, like if you want to power up an electrical gadget, you need to plug it in and turn on the plug. But in terms of the more in-depth intellectual theories and philosophies and so on, rules, everything, there's exceptions all the time. So why wouldn't there be one with this? Because I made a comment that I said I felt they were both terrible. And then I got that there's no such thing as mutual abuse. And then it's like, okay, I've heard that many times too, but then we need to actually go back and look at their relationship. If there's no such thing as mutual abuse, but there's two abusive people in a relationship, that means you've got to go back to the very beginning and isolate and identify the very first abusive incident in their relationship. And then from that point on, whoever was the abuser in that situation will always be the abuser, and the other one's always going to be the victim. And that just doesn't sit well with me. Yeah, but, she probably was reacting to a crazy person too. That's the thing. I mean, we definitely saw a lot of evidence, and it definitely didn't look good for her, but he wasn't an angel either, as you said. Yeah, mutually toxic, and maybe that's the correct terminology. Have a cigarillo, then I'm going to go and see my lovely butcher. I think he saw hot. I think he saw a smoking hot girl who was charming at the start, as he would have been as well. And I feel like she'd researched him too, because remember when they were talking about, like, when he explained his attraction to her, part of it was the books that she liked to read and the music that she liked to listen to. And there was a really obscure genre of music that he loved that she said she was really into as well. And they shouldn't have. Nope. They would have been a great little sit around a fire pot, get stoned and have a conversation, and then one of them goes home friendship airing, if anything. And what about her band of horrible friends that just took such advantage of him and just used him? Yeah, I mean, look, I do think I think Dr. Curry's diagnosis of, narcissistic personality disorder and all the other things pretty accurate. If you've ever had the misfortune of being with somebody diagnosed with NPD like I have, it was certainly a very familiar situation. She's really not that beautiful, though. Walk down the street at the Goldie and they are a dime a dozen. So true. Yeah, she may have Googled his net worth for sure. I thought she was really beautiful in the first film I saw her in. I can't even remember what it was. I thought, oh, she's quite a stunner. But then I started seeing her, like, speaking in public, and she just had such a bad juju around her, like just this really weird energy. Like, remember that speech she gave and she was fist pumping the air going, domestic violence, and like she was, even though it was meant to be anti-domestic violence, she almost came across like she was cheering it on. It was really weird. I like how Kevin Costner gave her the bum's rush from his trailer when she was in her birthday suit. She'd be naked and Kevin say, get out. I think she was always planning on shagging her way to the top. She's not the first little wannabe Hollywood starlet, and she won't be the last. She certainly got in front of powerful people who could basically build her career. Unfortunately, I've had the displeasure of being involved with an abusive narcissist, but I'm a grateful survivor. Yeah, me too. Just not great at spotting them still. I still get fooled by the charm. One of my former bosses, who was actually female, and there's nothing sexual about our relationship, but she still had that charm at the start that completely hooked me in. I was like, she's going to be great to work for. Boy, was I wrong. So yeah, I'm not great at spotting them, despite surviving two of them and possibly having a parent not unlike them. Garden variety blonde, not especially pretty, not quite ugly, just shop worn, fading fast. Yeah, I actually thought it is the vibe. It's the vibe. Me too, Cement. I've never been a fan of the guy, but that story, yeah. See, I don't know. I mean, to me, I thought she did have a bit of a 1940s classic Hollywood starlet look about her. I kind of like that vintage look. I mean, she didn't look like that in court. She looked like an Amish housewife, but in whatever film it was that I saw, and it wasn't the one with Johnny, she had that classic sort of old-fashioned beauty about her. I don't remember being bewildered by her acting skills, but I didn't think she was a pig dog. I've been watching Alone a lot, as you guys know. I'm currently in a Danish, this is for you, Kylie, currently in a Danish season of Alone, and one of the contestants found an antler and he picked it up and said, that's going straight to the pool room. And I'm like, oh my God, there's a Danish guy trying to survive in the wilderness of Norway, which is brutal, quoting The Castle in Danish, and the caption coming up on the screen. I'm like, I've got to track this guy down and tell him he's fucking hilarious. And I didn't realise The Castle had, I mean, I knew it spread around the world a little bit, but to see a contestant on alone in the Norwegian wilderness finding an antler and picking it up and saying that's going straight to the pool room, I nearly lost it. And the season's only like a couple of years old, so, you know, the castle is still doing the rounds. She was pretty before she started drinking and drugging like Keith Richards. Yeah, that's my defence to cement shoes. You've never heard of the castle, Emily? Oh, my God. Do yourself a favour, girl. I don't know if it's on Netflix. Find it and watch it. It's hilarious. So, like, whenever we quoted a lot in here in the chat. I mean, not every time we chat, but it's an Aussie thing. Like, we talk about when people say, oh, why do you think that? And if you hear somebody going, well, I don't know, it's just, it's Marbo, it's everything, it's the vibe. That is from the castle. You'll love it. It's an Australian iconic film. It's even more iconic than Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. Like, it's everything about it is just so Australian. Even on MasterChef, the current season of MasterChef in Australia, in one of the first episodes, one of the contestants whose name is Kath, and there's an Australian show called Kath and Kim, which is also fucking hilarious. And this Kath on MasterChef sounds like Kath from Kath and Kim, but she was making rissoles, and in the castle, every night when they have dinner, the husband's like, what do you call this, dear? And she'll say whatever the dinner is. And he's like totally bewildered by her skills as a chef. And it's very suburban Australian weeknight fare. There's nothing fancy about it at all. And they're one of the dinner scenes, he's sitting there going, this is delicious. What do you call it, darling? And she's like, call it rissoles. So people were quoting the castle during MasterChef. Like, it's an unavoidable Australian trait to have numerous quotes from the castle in your vocabulary. Every time I dug a hole, another gem. Although, wait, hang on a sec. Isn't I Dug a Hole Muriel's Wedding? Because that's another movie we all quote. Oh, no, that is the castle. Perry in in Muriel's Wedding is always kicking the footy around in the garden and not doing anything. Sorry, you're right. I Dug a Hole is the castle. But, yeah, Muriel's Wedding's another one. But then, mind you, watching MasterChef the other night, I ended up having a conversation for about 20 minutes with another guy on Twitter just quoting The Princess Bride. And I also quote Heathers a lot. We should do a live about that one day, like what movies and songs are in your vocabulary, because I also quote song lyrics. Yeah, it is. It's definitely the castle. Sorry. I went straight to Perry kicking the footy around the clothesline in Muriel's Wedding. No, it is. It's definitely. Tell them they're dreaming. Tad, this man is selling 2 jousting sticks for $40. Tell them they're dreaming. Like, as if what you fucking need 2 jousting sticks for. And anything that's precious or, you know, like a special handmade Christmas present or an award that one of the family gets, that's going straight to the poor room. But yeah, this dude on Alone, this Danish guy, who said the antlers are going straight to the poor room. I nearly lost it. So I'm going to track him down and find him on Twitter and just say, oh, my God, you just made my year. I was not expecting some guy in buttfuck nowhere in Norway to quote the castle. Like, for all the shitty things people do, you have a moment like that with a person and you're like, okay, we're not always terrible. Sometimes we're funny and we make somebody's day without even meaning to. All right, I'm going to the butcher's. Come with me. Get my meat. I'll be home by lunchtime and I'm planning on not having to leave my house except to do a little bit of shopping tomorrow because I'm making things on Sunday and I want fresh ingredients. And other than going to the gym and picking up some stuff from the market, I just want to do things at home. So I'm all good to go for the office on Monday. Then I'm working from home on Tuesday, and then I have another 3 days off again because of these extra days that I've been doing, which is lovely, but it also means I realise without me being there, there's one less person for them to pile mountains of work onto. So my workload is going to be even more intense than if I was working the extra day, but I'll take the day off, thank you. Okay, let's go. Oh, yeah, did someone, I can just see Monty Python. Yes, I quote a lot of that as well. Oh, shit, that reminded me. I've got a Monty Python thing I want to play in a live. I might save it for batshit since it's one of Finn's favourite topics. Unfortunately, well, no, I won't because his views on it and mine are so different. And every time we go into that topic, I just go, oh my God, I'm just going to have to zip my lips here. I'm trying to keep this show lighthearted and entertaining, and he's saying things that I really don't agree with. Like, I'll give you an example. I saw a quote yesterday. I think I took a screenshot of it. It's not my quote, but I can't credit the person because I can't remember who said it. But remember, we've done it a couple of times now. Finn's had the stories a couple of times at least about the drag queens going into schools and reading books to kids, and how, the parents, oh, look at those beautiful galahs. The parents they're the birds, by the way. Bye, Emily, I love you. And all the parents are outraged about these drag queens going into schools and reading books to kids. And the quote was something along the lines of, when parents of kids in American schools are more upset about a man in a dress reading a book to their kids than someone rocking up with a gun, there's something wrong with this. And I agree with that. Like, there's sort of more pressing things to be outraged about, in my view. But then I love drag queens, and I would have loved to have had one coming to my school to read me a story. I would have been such a liberal parent. I would have been like, bring it on. I want my kids to understand diversity and, we all come in all shapes, sizes and colours. Sweet dreams. Have fun with your painting, Emily. And to everyone else for hanging out, thanks for the laughs. Pets to Sunny, yes, she'll be getting plenty. Don't you worry about that. So yeah, we'll be doing a lot of cooking because you're also good looking. I don't know if you can see into the bakery, but my friend Charlie, who was on 60 Minutes, is in there. The locals get so excited. He's been living here for a few years now, and they always get so excited when they see him. And he loves it too. Yeah, I would have loved Divine reading me a story as well. I'm so with you, Cement. And I just think, can we focus our energy on the things that we really should be concerned about that's going into our schools? And kids with guns, you would think, would be right up there. In fact, we had a kid with a gun at a school in Western Australia a couple of days ago in the car park. He was arrested very quickly, but that was so weird reading a headline. I mean, I hate to say it, but I saw the headline, something about a kid with a gun at a school, and I was like, oh, shit, another one in America. Like, that's where I went, because it's just not something that comes up on our timelines in Australia. Well, I was going to say at all. I can't actually think of if and when it has happened before, and if and when it was. Like, but yeah, it was so weird. I just automatically went to thinking it was an American story, but no, it was a kid in Western Australia. I think Finn is awesome. Not sure he can keep it lighthearted, though. You can see he's passionate about certain topics. He sure is. Look, I adore the guy, I do. But I think that we first met discussing very serious topics. And I think that he's definitely starting to come to the party more with batshit. But you can see in some weeks, like, I'll try and just find the most straightforward, ridiculous, funny stories. But he's started playing things recently that I'm watching it and I don't even understand what they're talking about because it's so academic and weird to me that I'm like, why is this in this show? And you can't really have something like that without providing the backstory and what it's all about. And like, there's a warped sense of humor that he's got regarding academic issues that I don't get. And I do have to reel him back in when things get, because he does take things so literally. Whereas I'm like, oh, come on, can we just have a laugh at this in its sort of superficial state rather than turning it into, a serious thing. But by the same token, I'd love to do panels with him talking about serious shit, because he does get so fired up. But I do have to send him the warning I got from YouTube, because he has said things on batshit a lot that are way, way worse than what I said the other day. I was actually trying to debunk theorists and people that were irresponsible and reckless and putting information out there and jumping to conclusions, and people lose their lives and so on, and just how fucked up it was. And I got a warning. Like, I was actually trying to debunk it and be quite vocal about how anti that sort of shit I am. But Finn speaks incredibly openly, and yeah, I'm concerned. I don't want us to be putting all this time into doing this show and then losing a channel. Because if YouTube got me talking about it and actually talking against the speculation and the theories, if you're actually adding to the speculation and theories, I reckon YouTube's going to be pretty hardcore about that. So, yeah. But I'm going to go and get some meat and stuff, and I will see you all very soon. I've got so many different topics I want to cover on my channels now that I have a laptop again, and lots of cooking, and yeah, I'll be popping up randomly over the weekend. And I was all ready this morning in my snuggly winter clothing to do the sunrise, and it was really cloudy. So hopefully the cloud will disappear today and there'll be a beautiful clear morning tomorrow. Yeah, look, to be honest, Kylie, there's a topic that I don't even want us to discuss ever, because it's the global pandemic. It's just not worth it, because I was being very anti speculation and theories and writing it off as a non-event. And Finn often has stories about that are connected, and he's pretty he's very much a this was all made up and it's no biggie kind of attitude. But I think YouTube will not like that. I'm so happy you guys all popped in. The next batshit is next Thursday morning. So it's like 8:30 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time next Thursday. So it'll be Wednesday night for you, Cement. Well, it is depressing, and but it's also one that YouTube clearly are censoring big time. And to be honest, good. Like, for me, TV and YouTube are both sensational outlets for escapism. And I really think that people go to this platform to have fun, you know. There's plenty of people out there reporting stuff and writing stuff and spreading stuff and all that. If you're into all of that, that's what you do when you're not hanging out on YouTube. 13 hours apart. Yeah, so just go backwards from 8:30 a.m. on Wednesday, and that's when we'll be live. I used to set the lives up on the day or the day before, and I'd put them so everyone could hit the notification thing. But Finn sort of does it pretty soon before we go live. I mean, don't get me wrong, there were plenty of times that I didn't even do a notification for anyone. We just set it up and bang, the next thing we're live. But yeah, just make a note, chuck it in your calendar. And I'll see you then. Well, I'm going to see you all long before then anyway. I've got so much I want to talk about, and I want to talk about it with you guys. So until next time, stay groovy, everyone. And I'll be seeing you soon from my beautiful, shiny new laptop. It's so sexy. And like all good HPs, it's got Bang & Olufsen speakers. Okay, I'm out of here. I love you guys. Farewell. Now is the winter of our discontent.